I'm Yasmin Jandali, Managing Broker of Starwood Business Group here in Atlanta, Georgia.
And I'm Emma Nichols. I work with Yasmin at Starwood Business Group, and we're really excited today to bring you our first video
Yes.
on what are we talking about today? Preparing your business for sale.
That's right.
And Yasmin's been in business for many, many years, and I've been working with her for about a year. And we're very excited to talk to you about this today.
That's right. And Emma, you went through this process not too long ago yourself, about a year or so. You sold your business. So some of these tips and questions you had yourself.
Yes, I'm an experienced business owner and seller.
That's
for
right.
Sure.
That's right. And that's the best way to learn and get experience is to actually do it.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Right. And you did it, and you did it really well.
And you've been a business owner too.
I have. I still am.
Yes.
I still am. Starwood Business Group is my own company, so I'm still a small business owner, which is why I love to work with businesses in the community and help them transition when they're ready. So today we're going to cover the topic of preparing your business for sale. It's one of the #1 questions that we get from prospective clients and business owners when they're thinking about selling their business. And they have a myriad of questions. We're not going to cover every single one of them. There's a lot more information on our website, by the way. You can go to starwoodbusinessgroup.com and read up a little bit more, send us an email, send us a message, and get more information there. Today we're going to talk about just a couple, 3 things that you can do to help prepare your business for sale, even if you're not quite ready to sell just yet.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the good reasons in order to sell your business? What do you think they are?
There's a number of reasons why people decide to sell their business. Sometimes it's because their children decide they don't want to take over the company. Sometimes people just get burnt out. They're ready to do something different, something new. Sometimes it's health reasons. There's so many reasons why people decide to sell their business. There's really no right or wrong reason, but there's good timing and bad timing. And good timing is always when your business is profitable, successful, and when you're making money. So that's always the best time to think about selling your business. Because if you think about it, who wants to buy somebody else's headache, right? You want to buy a business that's established and successful and turning a profit. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more you can show a growth over time, the more attractive a business will be to a buyer. So that's a good thing to think about too.
And to prospective lenders too, because part of our process is we reach out to our banker colleagues, and in future podcasts we will be inviting one of our banker colleagues to come and talk to us about the process of SBA lending for a business. But the banks like to see good, solid, strong growth over a period of years as well. So that's really good to know.
Well, that's great. And so what would you say to business owners if they know their business is ready to sell?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing is you have to prepare your financials, right? You have to get your books in order, and you have to make sure that your P&Ls, your sales reports, your taxes, everything matches up as closely as possible. Of course, there's always going to be some adjustments made between a P&L and a tax return or things like that, and that's to be expected and understandable. But you generally want to make sure everything is as close as possible and very accurately reflects your operation and your revenue. This is not the time to try and not declare any revenue or cash flow that you might be earning, because that definitely will affect the overall value of your company as we're going through the evaluation process.
Yeah, and we do have something called seller's discretionary earnings.
Yes.
Is that correct?
SDC, seller's discretionary cash flow, or SDE, seller's discretionary earnings. That's really the main driver for the business valuation and what your company is going to be worth. And we'll talk about that in a future podcast when we discuss in a little bit more detail business valuation and cash flow analysis. But so for now, if you're thinking about selling your business, whether you're thinking about putting it on the market next month or in 6 months or a year or 2 or 3, it's never too early to start preparing. And again, getting your books and orders in order, books and records in order is always a good place to start. You always also want to make sure that you have a good policy and procedure manual in place that helps make the transition with the new owner that much more smooth and successful. And you want to make sure that you have an infrastructure in place that makes you as the owner as transferable or replaceable as possible. Because if a buyer thinks that you are the business, that makes them a little bit concerned. Well, what happens when Emma leaves? Is the business going to fall apart? Well, no, we have to show them we've got this great infrastructure in place that everything will go on business as usual, even if I'm not here.
Yes, and when you're doing the calculation, we'll go through all of this, but when you're doing that calculation, you have to include the reasonable salary that you must pay yourself and take that out of the profits, basically, right?
That's
in
right.
order to have a viable business.
That's right, yes.
Okay, so in terms of getting your books in order, what specifically are we talking about?
Well,
QuickBooks?
QuickBooks is a really good program to have. And these days it's relatively inexpensive. You can download it online, and there's other free programs and softwares that are available too. But again, making sure that you have some sort of POS system, inventory system, sales reporting system that helps, because ultimately our goal is to get a good, strong offer from a qualified buyer. When we do that, part of the process is due diligence. And when the buyer is going through their due diligence process, they're going to be reviewing all this information. And so the cleaner it is, the more it makes sense, the more accurate it is, the better off everything will be in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense. And we'll also cover in another episode what it will be like to transition once we've sold a business.
That's right.
But in general, how long would we expect an owner to stay in a business to help the new owner take over?
That's a great question, and we get that a lot too, don't we? That's one of the most common ones. And it really depends on two things. Number one, it depends on the business and how specialized it is and the industry it is, if it's very specialized or how niche. And it also depends on the buyer and the new owner, the level of experience that they bring to the table and what their background is, because obviously the more experience they have, their learning curve is going to be a little bit shorter. So it could range anywhere from 4 weeks to sometimes 2 or 3 years or more, again, depending on the buyer and the industry. But generally speaking, if it's a pretty standard business operation, 4 to 6 weeks is a fair transition period. I know yours was a little bit longer because it's still going on because it's, again, very specialized. And you brought a lot to the table, and your expertise was really needed to help keep that business going. And again, every business is different. So we'll talk about that once we discuss with each owner and learn about their business and make recommendations for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else we wanted to talk about? Preparing your business for sale. We're also going to cover a lot of other topics.
That's right.
And this is our first one. So.
Yeah. Well, I just want to add that when you're thinking about selling your business, one of the most important things is confidentiality and discretion. You really need to keep it under wraps and don't talk about it to everybody that you know. It's really important because you don't want to jeopardize the operation of your company or the relationships that you have with your vendors, your clients, your key staff that perhaps have been loyal and working with you for years, because we don't want to worry them. The fact of the matter is, the process takes time. It could sell very quickly and it could take 8 months or more to sell. So there's no reason to build up that potential concern if it's not going to happen right away. And then when it does come time for you to sell the business and transition, we'll absolutely help you with the best way to reach out to those key relationships that you have and make sure that the transition with the new owner is smooth and they continue to be successful, because that's our goal. We want the new owner to be successful, continue growing the company, making money, and taking care of your clients and your staff.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So if we have a business owner watching this, what's the number again?
Yeah, so we can be reached at 770-814-4466 and 24 hours a day at starwoodbusinessgroup.com. If you have any ideas, suggestions, questions, comments that you would like us to cover in future podcasts, please let us know. And we'll be happy to talk about it and answer any specific questions that you have. But for now, thanks so much for watching, and we're really looking forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.